Hi, welcome back to the Woodshop Nerdery. Well, it's been about 90 days since I got this Shopsmith Mark 7 brand new from the factory. So that means I'm past the 90-day money-back guarantee window on the new purchase. I also figured it's a good time to do a 90-day review on this machine. It doesn't seem that long ago that back in April I made the popular unboxing video for the Shopsmith Mark 7. I'll link to that video and all the other videos I mentioned down in the description. Also, people who follow my channel will know that about a month later, I had to return that first machine due to a number of problems and get a second brand new machine from Shopsmith. And that was covered under the 90-day money-back guarantee policy. And I want to thank Bob Folkerth and Jim McCann at Shopsmith, as well as many others for working with me on that. And I want to mention, at no time did I bring up my YouTube channel when working out that situation. In fact, whenever I deal with a tool vendor, either as a customer service issue or a purchasing issue, I never bring up my YouTube channel or seek any type of discount or special treatment. As a matter of customer service, I believe Shopsmith would have handled my situation with that original machine the same way for any other customer as they did with me. So that's a good reminder for me to take a little bit of a break here and tell you some details about the Woodshop Nerdery. Because I'm now over 1,000 subscribers, I do have the option of monetizing the channel. That basically means I'd be able to put ads into the videos as well as offer you subscription memberships. But I'm not going to do either of those things. In fact, I'm not even going to click the apply button on monetization. But creators can commercialize their YouTube content in other ways as well. For example, they can provide affiliate links to online retailers to their viewers. And if the viewer clicks on the link and then subsequently makes a purchase, the creator would get a small commission. Online retailers like Amazon, Tay Tools, and others have programs like that. I'm not going to participate in any of those programs. Also, creators can ask viewers to donate money through systems like Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. Creators can sell content like project plans or books. Also, creators can earn commissions from tool manufacturers in the form of money, free tools, or discount on tools for talking about the product in the video. I'm not going to do that either. In fact, this channel will never be a money-making venture. It is a 100% hobby channel. So that way you know that the only reason for me to make a video is for my own personal enjoyment. And my only reason for putting a link in a description or comment or community post is purely just to share information. But even on this second machine, I did have two problems that I had to work with Shopsmith to solve. One of those I made a video about regarding quill runout. And again, I'll link to that video down in the description. But I also had a problem with the blade guard that I didn't ever mention. There was somewhat of a burr here on the back, and that was keeping the blade guard from smoothly going up and down. I sent the guard back to Shopsmith. They removed some material here so that it wouldn't catch on the back of this metal piece, and that has improved the issue immensely. Other than those two issues on this second machine, I've had really no other problems. Next, I'm going to go through some of the features that I really like having on this Shopsmith Mark 7. The Shopsmith Mark 7 comes with this long magnetic ruler as well as this short magnetic ruler. It is very nicely made, very nicely etched. But I also like to work in metric whenever I can. So I purchased this nylon-coated steel ruler from Amazon, and it was originally one of those adhesive back systems. I just removed the adhesive backing so that it would stick here to the magnet along this fence rail. I do wish Shopsmith made a dedicated metric ruler that is as nicely made as these imperial rulers. I'm still on the lookout for a magnetic metric tape that is as good a quality as this. So if you know of any, please leave me a comment. Another feature of the Mark 7 that I've really grown to like is the digital control panel. Now, I never really minded the manual crank until I got this system. I can tell you that I am well spoiled by clicking the chart button, selecting the tool, and then selecting the setting. I also like the convenience of the buttons at the top. Now, one thing I have found is that I rarely turn the system up over 5,000 RPM, and that includes for routing. I found that 5,000 RPM is plenty fast enough to do routing on the Shopsmith for the type of routing I do which is mostly joinery work. So that's creating mortises or tenons, grooves and dados, and some basic profiling like chamfers and roundovers. I don't do a lot of fancy profiles which require a high degree of polish right off the router bit. So I just don't need those faster speeds, and the machine seems to be very comfortable running between 5 and 6,000 RPM. Now, one feature I thought I would never use was the forward and reverse button. You can actually run this motor in the opposite direction. That was until I was using my thickness planer the other day, and now I'm super glad that I have this button. And that's because the thickness planer on the original Shopsmith Mark V was designed to mount on this side of the headstock, driven by this spindle. So the cutter head would rotate like this, so that meant you stood on the back of the machine and fed the boards in this way, and you would reach around the front to turn the machine on and off and to change the speed dial. But the default setting on the built-in speed chart runs the thickness planer in reverse, which means you mount the thickness planer on this side of the headstock and you feed the boards in this direction. And that really saved my bacon the other day because I was thickness planing for about an hour and my headstock got hot and I received the inverter heat warning on the display. And because I was standing at the front of the machine, I was able to have line of sight visibility to the display, see the warning, finish the board I was working on, turn off the machine, and let it cool down for a few minutes. So that's why I've all of a sudden become a fan of that forward reverse button. I own exactly 2 DeWalt tools, 1 and 2. These are my favorite utility knives. They're all metal body, they're flat, durable, don't take up much space in the pocket, and they're going to help me make short work of these boxes. So maybe some of you are thinking, why don't I just keep this carton in case I need it? The problem is, I don't have anywhere to store it. In some ways, this is sort of the beginning of my official ownership of the Shopsmith, since I can no longer return it. Ceremonial sacrifice. Well, that's all I'm going to try to fit in this week. We still have some other household items to get in here for trash day tomorrow. Another feature I'm really enjoying of my Shopsmith Mark VII is the double tilt system. I'm going to go ahead and set that up now. I'm just going to temporarily set the fence here for demonstration purposes. Some people are confused about the double tilt system, and they think if you tilt the base upward like I have it now, that you actually have to have the Power Pro headstock in order to operate router bits and shaper bits correctly. But that's not actually true for most bits. As you can see, this shaper bit is set up on the shaper arbor, and the cutters are designed to spin in this direction. So that means I would need to feed my workpiece from this side to this side to be feeding against the direction of rotation. And that's good news because in the forward direction, the rotation of the motor spins this way. So I'd be feeding the workpiece in this direction, and the cutter would be turning in the right rotation. So that means the double tilt system will work with a conventional headstock which only turns in the forward direction for most router bits. That's going to include common router bits like these, where the cutting direction for all of these bits are that way. Now, the one exception to this is, let's say with my shaper cutter, and this one happens to have a double roundover profile. Let's say I wanted to expose this part of the cutter to the workpiece rather than this part. I could flip that upside down, but in doing so, my cutting direction is now going in this direction, so I need my motor to spin that way, and I would need to feed my workpiece that way. So I could set up my fence, and I could reverse the motor and feed the workpiece in this direction now. So that's the only rare case where I would need to use the reverse direction on the headstock with the undertable routing and double tilt mode. I hope that clears up any confusion that people may have out there about the relationship between the double tilt system and the reversing headstock. So after 90 days, those are my favorite things about the Shopsmith Mark 7 and that I'm actively using. I've gone ahead and cut down the package, but I think I'm going to go ahead and keep one of the box ends as a memento. Maybe I'll hang it on the wall. Thank you for sticking with me to the end, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.